Great rising, my people. Great rising, my people. Oh, I greet you in the words of a BB for Jose. Just coming back to you with another video. This one I entitled, what did I entitle it? Sometimes I forget the titles I put up. Um, um, Attraction. You attract what you attract. You decide. And the reason I labeled it this about you decide, and so okay, how I want to unpack this one. I saw where it was Russell Wilson, and there was, I guess he's going through something, or he feels something for Sierra. Um, and he says he has a fear that he's losing this woman. And the backlash that's coming, it's not laughable because I understand where we are. It's laughable because it is continuing to circulate. It's continuing to circulate, and it's continuing to pick up like a lot of momentum. Meaning, like how we view things. We view a brother that's expressive of himself. We view a brother that appreciates his woman. We view a brother that, and I'm talking about in general, not just him, because it's bigger than him. But we view a brother that's not in a lower level nigga mentality. And I use that word as disrespect when I use nigga. A lower level nigga mentality. We see that as simping. We see that, and it's only happened to us because we got to learn how to check this stuff. We're the only ones that openly toss it around. Now, misogyny is a white man's thing. Don't believe me? Read your history. Misogyny is something of the European. Misogyny, that's why I always said we are knockoff white men. They imitate us while we imitate them. And that's why none of John Henry Clark said, at what point are we going to stop imitating the imitators? That makes sense what I'm saying. So this is what we do. We literally feel pride for like putting down our women, putting down our men. You attract. Meanwhile, cats like Future, Boosie, who I get tired of speaking, and Vlad knows what he does when he puts dudes like him on his platform. Notice he doesn't. Vlad is Armenian or something. But how come he never just really gets a heavy influx of Armenian people and asks them those type of questions about the men and the women in their culture? How do Vlad feel about women? That's why I was always like, we have to like leave those program platforms because our people continuously go on and just say the most interrogating stuff, say the most degrading stuff about us, all for his entertainment. How much money does Vlad put in the black community? He takes it back and he builds an empire. They keep their misogyny in-house. They've never sang the insults of theirs openly like we do. I was listening to and keeping in circle of we attract what we attract. And it's been going on, I would say, since colonization. How we view each other. But it's through stages, we progressively got worse. How we felt respect for our women. And some of the songs, just go back and listen to some of the old school songs that we listen to. Like now, The point I was gonna say was I was listening to Atlantic Star Slow Jam. Play another slow jam. Just listen at those lyrics. See, like that's why Tupac always said, I'm looking for my pen. Like Tupac always said, don't just bob your head to the music. Listen to the words. We've gotten so caught up because we know we are vibrational people, or we've gotten so caught up in forgetting about the entertainment portion of the octopus. So by us just understanding who controls the narrative controls the minds. And I'm getting to we attract what we attract. Who controls the narratives controls the mind. So that's why books like when I'm talking about the Tavistock Institute, it's it's one tentacle, but there are a billion more. So in this tentacle, how it affects us, because I'm not a person that look at something and say how it affects all people. No, I'm worried about how it affects my people, how it affects my children, how it affects my women, my brothers, and so on. So we must understand who controls the narrative controls the minds. So let's just say, in those stages of us getting progressively worse, like I said, something I said that I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Anybody that listened to my videos know I say I grew up in that, and I've said this because repetition is how they got us. How many of you sometimes y'all riding and you don't even like the song, but you hear it so much? Guess what? What do you start doing? You start singing the words, right? You begin to have like a like for the song that you really don't, you know it's trash, because deep down in our subconscious, we kind of know this music is trash. But this all we got to eat, so we're gonna eat something. We like music. So by our enemies or handlers controlling the narrative, how do you think they're gonna narrate us? They're gonna narrate us to say men like myself who adore, who protect black women, who believes in holding people accountable, who believes in calling out injustice so much that sometimes I get myself in trouble for calling out injustice. But that's what we're supposed to do. But meanwhile, the narrators or the handlers, they're controlling, so they're making it seem like one thing I feel in my personal opinion, that we have to kill those suffixes of boy, girl. What do I mean and what I'm talking about? Bad boy, baby girl. These are people that are 40, 50, 38, random, still calling themselves girl, baby girl. Bad boy. I like bad boys. Um, there was also another one I read, and I'm not a fan of Pepper, but she was saying that how she regret not giving Will Smith a chance. Now, I have my own, issues with Will and Jada, but the point of this example is she said he was too nice. Now dig what the female mind and the female brain computer computes, right? That a brother that is too expressive is soft. That a brother that doesn't call you this or cheat on you or make you kind of wonder that he ain't fun. And one of the triggers I had to get through, I'm not a fan of Mary J. Blige's music at all, but one of her songs would just always hit my trigger. That's why I said we have to work on our triggers. But one of her songs would always hit my trigger and it would just be the intro. It would be the Mr. Wrong, the bad boys ain't no good and good boys ain't no fun. And I've talked to a lot of my sisters to try to get some understanding. But they, how the brain computer works for them, that stuff like this, oh, she's boring. Oh, he's boring. So our subconscious really wants to attract trouble. I mean, and sometimes, I give so many references and I give so many narratives of things I see on social media, on TV, because it has an overwhelming effect on our minds and how we look at stuff, does it not? We want the lifestyle because we see the lifestyle the celebrities have. We want to take them chances like Big Meech because we saw the jewels they had. Who controls the images? Who controls the narratives? Controls the people. Check. In the words of none of Steve Coakley, check. So by them saying, "Oh well, these type of boys, oh they ain't no good." Nobody wants a good man. And so many, I seen one said something to the nature of, females want Future to act like Russell Wilson. But it's still kind of like that thug, quote unquote, bad boys mentality. But they want chivalry out of that. But what we must understand that the engineering on the other side has taught those type of personalities not to value you. The bad boys, it's been taught for them not to value women. Like I said, I always use this narrative because, like I said, it was a part. It wasn't the totality, but it was a part of a massive paradigm shift. When Snoop Dogg was like, "We don't love them hoes," that wasn't. He didn't. He's not the cause for us totally to degrade and look at our women. If we look at the Nothing But a G Thing video, how we, even though the girl, when she comes in the club and she's all, she comes in the house party and she's acting all bougie, what do they do to her? They pour the 40 all over her head. They totally disrespect her. They totally disrespect her. They taught a generation to devalue black women. They taught a generation of black women to devalue themselves. But we're not understanding because we're still looking for the image. Now, nothing is wrong with you having your preference. But your preference, even on the same token, now this is twofold. This is my yacht. This is balance. Same thing as I'm talking to you, I talk to myself because we all want what's beautiful to what we feel like what's beautiful to us. You all want that kind of 6'2" chiseled dude, that kind of like that image that's given to us through all the Tyler Perry movies. All the same type of females. We attract what we attract, but we never address the characters of those. And I'm not saying just because you're beautiful or a handsome brother that you're, but a lot of times, how those energies interpreted. That shit, I look good. I don't have to be nice. I'm not saying this for all, but we know this to be true, right? I don't have to treat people nice. I got money. I don't have to value women because there's 50 others that want me, that want to take your place. So you're replaceable. And as we begin to develop this personality, we begin to love this, get this love and this passion for people that was just rude and assholes. So the fact that I'm seeing him being clowned for expressing how he feels about his woman, it's always a double-edged sword, a slippery slope, because when we love our women, we're picked on. And then when they show the race traders that don't love their women, we're destroyed. I saw something on my timeline, and I just give real life experiences. I'm not here to say I'm nobody's savior, nobody this, nobody that, but I know my mission. And I'm looking at something yesterday, and there's no need of arguing with a race trader. And there was this black female that was on my timeline, and she wrote a long message just to say how much that black men weren't romantic. Black men weren't this, black men weren't that. You have to treat them like this. They're just a total ass kicking of it. Now, I'm not saying her experiences wasn't true. That's her truth. But what we have to learn to do on both sides is give credit to the brothers that are trying. Give credit to the sisters that are trying. Give credit to the good sisters. We always want to just talk about the negative. Who controls the narratives? Who controls the narratives of us? We always want to talk about the negatives of how we just ain't shit, and how we always want to talk about the downsides and all the bad relationships and how we were dogged out and how we were mistreated. But what role did we play in being mistreated? What role did we play? Let's take accountability. But we must always understand who's controlling the narrative. We can only take accountability to so much until we're able to understand who's doing what. The total paradigm shift wasn't our fault. It was just heaped upon us. But what I'm saying is, it's just like in growth, you have to get around a better caliber of people. Sisters, you have to learn sometimes, the dude that's going to love you the most, he might be short. I know, because just tell me this before I wrap it up. Well, how do we think we would feel about disabled people or overweight people if they were the standard of beauty? If the narrative was pushed that short brothers or brothers with disabilities like myself, and I really hate using that word, but I'm just at a disadvantage in my walking sometimes. But overall, my upside is tremendous. Yes, I have flaws like everybody else. I have insecurities like everybody else. I need to be reassured like every other brother. But my upside is grand. I know I'm a king. But this king has problems. But this king is open to healing. I'm a king that can understand. I'm a king that can continue to be taught because I can teach. I practice my art. But what if ones like me was the standard in Hollywood movies? How many times does Tyler Perry cast ones like me as a love interest? That's desired. Because the narrative teaches we aren't desirable. Big women aren't desirable. Big men aren't desirable. It's all under this cookie cutter image of what beauty is. But what is the personality is the point that I'm trying to drive home. What is the character? Can this fine body that this sister got, can she understand, just being faithful? How does she interact with children? Has she healed from sexual traumas? Has she healed from maybe any past issues? And I'm only using these things because these are things a lot of times when we beautiful, we got money, we tend to overlook. Same thing for the brother. How does he view women? Does he listen to your voice and respect your voice? How does he feel about your children? Is the man that you're with or the woman that you're with, would you want them teaching your children if you had children? Would you want the man that you're giving yourself to or the woman you're giving yourself to teach your children? I'm just asking that we clean up, that we learn to recognize how we were engineered in our lower level energy. It's not pointing the finger at anybody because we have to get out of that slowly. Because we want to blame us for something, like I said, that was heaped upon us. If we can't recognize what's driving us crazy, how can we stop the madness? We want to make these blanket statements as if we are causing menticide to white people. We only responded to what's been given to us for the third time. We didn't mistreat women. And when I'm talking about my African culture, I'm not talking about some mysticism, some fantasy that I'm caught up in my head. I'm talking about the origin of how we were supposed to. That's why we had divine orders of Maya, because we knew to treat each other well. Not to say we didn't have disagreement, because like I said, we weren't perfect robots. We had disagreements, but we didn't settle it with, oh bitch, fuck you, oh blah blah blah. We didn't talk. We went with that. To dump stuff, to dump beer on a sister's head, and come on, look at how they engineered us to love. Who taught us how to love? Take that. Think about that. Where did you learn how to love? Do you know how to love? Without sex being in play, without somebody being laid over you or having somebody to lay over you as fellas, do you know how to love? Because we understand sex is an emotion, but sex is not love. It's a loving emotion. It's a loving feeling. But sex is not love, because we can have sex with people that we have no love for. Just an emotional attraction. Sex is not love, y'all. Money is not love. It's a token of love. Physical attraction is not love. it's a good feature. What love is how. It is just my interpretation. And if you agree, you agree. But love is just innately how you treat somebody. How you treat somebody. Make sense? You know? Love is reciprocated with that same treatment. You cannot love me and abuse me. I cannot love you and misuse you. I can have love for you. And this is why, and last point, this is why we're having also this influx of um, dudes not want to show their feelings. Because they see how, a lot of us feel how we feel. Like how Russell Wilson expressed himself. But we don't want to say it because of that very same feeling. We don't want to get dogged out. You don't want to get clowned. Oh, dude, nigga, you in love? Come on, we all know we had them homeboys. We all still got them. Oh, nigga, you in love? Nigga, you ain't supposed to be caking me. All of this stuff. But them same rappers like Jeezy that told you that, he went and got a Chinese bitch. Come on. I'm looking at an article about Serena Williams' husband, and it's making him look like he's just so supportive of her because she had to get away from her own. You got to get away from your own to get some love, to get somebody that loves on you, to get somebody that understands. You got to go outside of yourself to get somebody to understand you, if I'm making sense. To get somebody that supports you. You can't get support from your own. This is the paradigm shift. This is the narrative that was pushed. You can't get support from your own, so you got to go look at the Asian girl. You got to look at the white girl because they generally treat us better. That's bullshit. And we must push that narrative back. We must teach our children how to communicate. We must teach our children how to love. We must teach our boys it's okay to cry. Just don't be a crybaby and whine. We got to start teaching better. But first, we got to understand it's a problem, y'all. And half of us don't even understand it's a problem. Because the problem starts in here. It starts within. So we want to acquire as many things to make us feel better about the shitty selves that we are. How are you when you lay down without a material thing? I would love a quote unquote beautiful woman, but I want somebody that's gonna love me. I've had beautiful women. But the time with beautiful women come beautiful with ugly problems. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I have my preferences just like everybody else. But beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I'm not going to talk your ears off. I just wanted to talk about that. I may come back and do a part 2. I'm just learning to put more stuff out. So I leave you in the words that I greeted you in. Like I said, think about some of these stuff. Share this video. A BB for Hodier. Peace. African liberation for African people. To everybody else. Peace.